Are you in the same business with your spouse or your partner? Is working together in the same business causing you a lot of problems? In today's episode, I'll share with you the three dangerous mistakes that couples in the same businesses make and what to do about them. Let's go. Mistake number one, fighting in front of employees. I remember a couple. They are my close friends. They always fight in front of their employees when they disagree on something. Sometimes the husband approves something and then the wife disagrees, and so they fight. Or sometimes the wife approves something that the husband doesn't want, and so they disagree. Big fights. It was so bad. They'd shout at each other, the wife would throw stuff at her husband, and the employees are there watching them fight. And because of this, the husband became disrespected by their employees. Whatever he says or tells them what to do, the employees would just wait for the wife to make the final decision. You know, employees are wise, just like our parents. Even if there's no fighting, we would go to the parent who we think is most likely to allow us to get our way, right? Yes, we did this to our parents. If we need more money for our allowance or to get permission to go on a trip with friends, we go to the parent who is more giving or who is easier to say yes, right? And then the parent who approves becomes an ally. And together, we are now up against the parent who initially said no. Now, if you have kids, you will also observe this with your kids. We as parents are played by our kids like a ping pong or table tennis. They play us so that we are made to go head to head with each other. Yes, just like what we did to our parents, our kids and employees will make us fight. So again, the lesson here is do not fight in front of them. Always appear to be united. I know it's hard, but if you make the decision that you will never fight in front of them, you won't. My husband and I, we've been together in business for more than 40 years, but we never, not even once, fought in public. We never fought in front of our kids or our employees. But we are human. And so, did we fight? Of course, we fought often, especially when we did not know any better. But one thing that kept us together was the agreement to present a united front to others. Yes, just like most couples, we often disagreed with each other's decisions. And we even committed mistake number two, which is not recognizing each other's calling earlier. We have discussed this in episode 22 entitled How to Find the Right Business for You Based on Your Business Calling. So if you need to go back and learn the concept on a deeper level, you can check that video later. Now, what is calling again? Calling is our purpose. Calling is what we love to do, what we are good at, what the world needs, and what the world will pay for it. My husband and I made a huge mistake. For almost 30 years, we have had a lot of disagreements in our businesses. And so at one point, we decided to split up our businesses. He took over the three businesses and I took care of the remaining two. Big mistake. All five businesses suffered. All of them got buried in deeper debt. And my husband and I almost broke up. Our finances and our children were a mess, a huge, huge mess. The businesses were failing. Everything was falling apart. And this was when we learned a powerful lesson. Looking back, I can say it's by God's grace that we began talking to each other again. Just like in the song we asked, where did our love go? We both remember that opposites attract. The reason why you and I were attracted to our partners in the first place was because there was some quality in them that we didn't have and that we admired. They too were attracted to some of ours in the same manner. But eventually, after getting married, the thing that we liked most about them became the problem. For example, he's so thoughtful and generous. He loves giving you gifts. But now, as a married couple, it irritates you. You think that it is unnecessary and it is just a waste of money. Now, here's another example of opposites attract. I'm an introvert. I love being alone and just staying at home. My husband, however, is an extrovert. He loves being with people. He likes to go out and loves to make friends. I'm a meticulous and detailed-oriented woman, while my husband is a big picture person. I need concrete proof and numbers before I take action, while he follows his hunches and his inner knowing. So whenever he says, let's not go into that, I don't like it. I'd ask him why. And as a meticulous person, he wouldn't be able to give me the facts and figures to explain it to me. He'd just sense it. And most of his hunches have been right, if I may say. He's good at those hunches. So our opposite characteristics are complementary. Together, we are strong. But separate, well, we become weak. So finally, when everything was breaking apart, we decided to work together again. And this time, we divided our task based on our individual strengths, our individual calling. We also created an organizational chart. Since I'm a meticulous introverted person, I'm comfortable dealing with the people I know. I don't like dealing with strangers. So I handled the internal parts of the business. I did HR, strategic planning, meeting with the managers, handling the mancom, and all of those other stuff. While my extroverted husband handled external part of the businesses like visiting our stores, dealing with government agencies, creditors, and suppliers. He handled also our money. When money was not enough, he went out to borrow. And when it's time to pay, he was able to manage the money very well. And because we were both playing to our strengths, we were able to turn our businesses around. So, how to avoid the second mistake of not recognizing each other's calling? What I'd like you to remember is that because both of you are complementary and that opposites attract, together you will always be strong. A lot stronger than when you just act alone. Make sense? Now, for couples, if you have two different businesses in mind, I'd advise you to choose one and work together instead. Choose the one which has a brighter chance of making you more money in 10 to 40 years and which you can leave to your kids. Never choose based on passion or pride only. Remember, it's not just what you love to do and what you are good at. It should also be what the world needs and is willing to pay for. I'm sure both of you can find tasks that you love to do in the business, especially if you look towards the future of your kids. So let's review. How do we avoid the mistakes? Number one, no fighting. Number two, divide the work according to your calling and create an organizational chart. Now, mistake number three is not following the organizational chart. So the couple, our friend, made an organizational chart because I suggested it to them. But they did not follow that organizational chart. The wife still maintained control of the business, and so the business was a mess. That was 30 years ago. Now that the kids have joined the business, I heard that they are still fighting. Now they're fighting with the mom even. The fighting culture has remained throughout the years. Yes, the business can survive and make money even if you're fighting, but it will not grow to the extent that it could grow. It's better if there's harmony in the family and in business, right? You see, when there's harmony in the organization, you are attracting good energy. You are attracting good vibes to come to you. And that's good, right? Now, talking about organizational charts, there are two good practices that I want you to see. Here in the Philippines, we still have the macho culture, whether you like it or not, and also the matriarchal culture, where the moms at home are really powerful. You don't see that in other countries. So, I see some organizational charts where the wife is the president and the husband is below her. It does not look good that the man is always taking orders from his wife based on the organizational chart. Well, if it works for you, that's fine. But if not, here's what you can do. Put the man's name as head of the organization. It looks better if the wife is below her. This is even if the wife has a strong personality or is more educated or more qualified, more extroverted, and if the husband is shy. It doesn't matter. Make the husband the president and the wife the general manager. In small businesses, don't be so worried about who's on top and who's below. Just give the honor to the husband and the wife be subservient in the organizational chart. And then what you do is split the responsibilities clearly between the two of you by defining what are the approval powers of each one. Since my husband and I made the agreement, our employees could no longer play ping pong with us. When an employee would come to me and say, Ma'am, sir is not around, can you please approve this? And when I see that it was my husband's area or scope of responsibility, I would refuse to touch it. I tell them to just wait for him to get his approval. So couples, never let your pride get in the way. Respect each other so that in turn, you'll gain the respect of everyone in the organization. So what to do to avoid mistake number three? Follow the organizational chart and the division of work with absolutely no deviation and no exception. So those were the three dangerous mistakes that couples in the same businesses make and what to do about them. This is Mommy N, your Mommy Negosyo, saying be business minded. See you in the next video.